The following program is classified G. It's suitable for all ages.
Good evening and welcome to Business Best. This is a platform where we showcase the best in the business, and we will be introducing to you people who have excelled in their particular field in order to showcase their latest developments in their respective industry. So today on the show we'll be talking about a business that basically would guide you to achieving your career goals, most importantly your happiness. So I'm not going to give you further details. Let's get more about from the founder himself, Lien Keerthisinghe, who is the founder of Lien Coaching. Thank you, Lien, for joining with us on the show today.
Thank you, Sonali. Thank you for having me.
As my first question today, I believe that you were in the corporate sector for quite some time and you jumped on into becoming a transformational coach. What made you want to make that skip and what inspired you to be that person?
Okay, so Sonali, I've been working in the corporate sector for I think more than 16 years. And I've worked in multinationals, I worked in big companies, small companies. At one stage, I had a dream of building my own business to become an entrepreneur. So while I was doing my job, I was building my business as well. And there were days where I used to work till about 3 o'clock in the morning because I was really passionate. And at that point, I wanted to invest my time into something that was really fulfilling and which was into more personal development, I would say. I wanted half an hour every day. But I realized at that point, I did not have that half an hour. I was struggling to find half an hour for myself, but I absolutely couldn't. So it actually gave me this epiphany, and I asked myself, if I'm earning this much of money, and if I'm successful, and I was doing at a very, I would say a very good level in my corporate life as well, and if I'm so successful, and if I have money, what's the point if I'm not in a position to find half an hour for myself? So that really opened up my mind, and I started thinking differently. And when that shift happened, something big happened in me. And I started seeing the world in a very different way. I started seeing how people are in search of happiness in their own definition. So people work, some people do businesses, sometimes it's about money, sometimes it's about relationships, sometimes it's about achieving certain goals they have set. But although their intention is to find happiness through all those means, the very same things that they're doing is actually pushing them against a wall where they're unhappy, where they're frustrated, and they're struggling because all these commitments and everything have really constricted them. So this new way of seeing things really helped me understand, hey, there's something wrong here. I need to start finding what true happiness is. So that's where my journey started, and from that point, 3 years after, I can say I've discovered something that I was really searching for, and I'm glad that shift happened because now I'm in a position to actually give that to other people and open their eyes and help them to find true happiness and fulfillment and their definition of success.
Lien, you said that everybody has a different definition of happiness and you were able to find that happiness.
Yes.
So in your terms, what do you think happiness is?
Okay, so that's a very good question, right? For me, happiness would be to be, do, and have anything that I want, right? If you can be anything that you want, anything or anyone that you want, if you can have practically anything you want, and if you can do anything that you like as well, that takes away a lot of frustrations or a lot of, how should I say, attempts that you have to make on a day-to-day basis, struggles. But then again, at the same time, while you achieve that point of be, do, and have, you need to have the inner peace as well. But that inner peace actually comes from understanding your mindset, understanding what happens inside, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you frustrated. And this actually is the most interesting part in coaching, because even when I coach people, I spend at least 4 sessions or 4 weeks in what I call an ultimate self-discovery, where we deep dive into a person's inner world to really understand who that person is. And sometimes the outcomes and the findings that happens are real breakthroughs, and it blows people's minds away, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know this about me. So to find your version of happiness, your definition of happiness, number one is first you need to discover yourself. And that's the most interesting part about my style of coaching.
How important would you say that discovering yourself is? Because sometimes even for you to discover yourself, I believe that it took quite some time.
Absolutely.
How important do you say would...
So I think in life, if you need to find your version of happiness and success, it is very important. It is very, very important, because if you don't know who you are, you don't know how you think, you don't know how you respond to things, you don't know what makes you happy, what makes you sad, right? So basically you are shooting in the dark in your life. You would go to any job that you get your hands on. You would talk with any person or become friends with any person that you meet. You would basically do anything that is available for you. But when you find the true definition of happiness and understands more about you and how your mind works, we call them baselines. We have different technical terms like baselines, encodes, and different modalities where we use to understand what happens inside. When you know your elements, then you can pick and choose. So for an example, if I'm a person who becomes happy in giving others, in helping others, me joining a bank and sitting in administration department is not going to help me. But me becoming a coach or a teacher or a doctor or a nurse is going to fulfill me, right? So this is why discovering yourself is the most important part if you really want to be happy in life.
All right. So Lien, tell us about Lien Coaching. What are the services that you all provide, and what are the coaching sessions that you do as well?
So Lien Coaching is all about transformational training. So under transformational training, we have two main categories. One is the individuals that we cater to. Secondly, the corporates. So for individuals, we have a main flagship program, which is called the Success Blueprint. Basically, what we do is we help an individual to take their life to the next level of abundance by discovering, developing, and unleashing his happiness and success formulas. So in that program, we spend 12 weeks where they discover themselves. Then I work with them to help them find their decision-making formula, their success formula, their happiness formula, and I help them make more time using the same 24 hours, make more time so they can spend time doing the things that they love with the people that they love. And that program ends by setting up an audacious goal with a strategy and action points, so you have an execution plan to achieve your goal. And that knowledge you can keep on applying to any goal that you want to achieve. I just want to take a small break and talk about the decision-making formula before I go to the corporate segment, because Shanali, now if you think we are the decisions that we have taken in the past, would you agree with that?
Yes.
If you go back in time and change one decision that you took and came back to the present moment, life would be extremely different, right? So if decision making is so important, does our schooling system teach us how to take decisions? No. Do our parents teach us how to take proper decisions? No. Does our higher education or any program that we follow teach us how to take decisions? No. So basically, we are doing trial and error on a daily basis, trying to figure out how to take decisions. So basically, we are shooting in the dark. And what I say is, life is such a short journey, there's no room for shooting in the dark. So you need to discover your decision-making formula, your success formula, and your happiness formula, so you can live the life the way you want to obtain the results you want. So this is what my individual program on success coaching is about. Then I also offer an offering to corporates. So while there are so many different types of business coaches, strategy coaches, I am very different from them, because my specialty is transformation, life transformation. So what I tell the business owners is, think of having the best CEO, the best general manager, but he has problems at his home, right? Maybe it's his relationships, maybe it's his family, but he has problems. So when he comes to office, no matter how good he is, he's not going to be productive. He's going to blast his staff, he's going to be unhappy, he's going to be grumpy, and he's going to be less productive, right? Just imagine if the business owners can actually uplift their lives, right, by giving this transformational training to them versus different skill sets that you usually follow saying training. When your management or when your top management excel in their life, becomes more happy and successful as a person, obviously the outflow of it is going to help the business. So my proposition to corporates, for the business owners or for their top management, is invest in your people, uplift their life, transform their lives so they find their happiness and success formula, and the main benefactor, as much as the individual itself, is the business. So I've seen people turning around businesses, doubling, tripling their revenues. I've seen stories, I've heard stories, I've experienced how people become amazingly productive, like super employees for that matter, or super business people who actually take their life and the business to the next level when they come to that point.
Right, Lien, I think that was a very elaborate description that you gave, and I'm getting so many follow-up questions to ask you as well. But before that, we will have to go into a short commercial break. We'll be back soon. You're watching Business Best. Welcome back to Business Best, and we are in discussion with Lien Keerthisinghe, who is the founder of Lien Coaching. Lien, I think in the first segment you mentioned about decision making and how important it is that at the prior stages that people are not aware or they're not educated in order to make their own decisions, the right decisions. But you say that you would be able to guide them. So after you guide them, do you say that you can assure them to make the correct decision at this point? Because everything in this world is not very certain. It's very uncertain. So how can you say this?
Okay. So Shonali, what makes a decision a right decision or a wrong decision? There's a very thin line, right? What I might see as right, you might see it as wrong. So it's very personal as well. But the important thing is when you take a decision, can you take that decision in such a way where it will serve you, right? Or serve others as well in certain cases. What happens most of the time is people take emotional decisions, irrational decisions without thinking through in a simple way. They just take a decision and then only they realize, oh my God, what did I do and what kind of impact did this have? So what I do is I give them a model through which they can think of different variables. So before arriving at a decision, your brain gets used to look at all these options and take a better decision which you are more aware about, right? Even the consequences, right? And like how many options do I have? If I take this option, what's going to happen? If I take this option, what's going to happen? What are the consequences of these results, right? And if this happens, do I have a plan B? You know, different types of questions that you can put in. But the most important thing in making a decision would be, are those decisions aligned with your baselines? Baselines are your core values that you live by, right? So if my baseline is integrity, and if I take a decision that is totally opposite, I can't be happy with that. But most of the people have no idea what their baselines are. When I coach people, we take about 400 baselines and keep on narrowing it down until they find out their top 6 baselines, which is going to be their anthem for the rest of their life. Because once you know your 6 baselines, you know if I do things based on these 6 baselines, I'm going to be happy and satisfied. And if the decisions that I take are not aligned with these baselines, I'm not going to be happy, right? So that gives them an opportunity to take more informed decisions. And the other thing is, why people can't take good decisions is because they are not aware of their state. Think of it like there are 5 doors, right? Your best state, a good state, an average state, below average state, and a destructive state, right? Think of these 5 doors leads to 5 parallel worlds. And in these 5 parallel worlds, you exist. So in the best state, in the world where the best state, Shonali exists at a very best state. You are really happy, you are energetic, you are motivated. So all the decisions that you take and all the consequences happens at that level. And similarly, Shonali, who lives in the below average parallel reality, takes decisions or acts, things in a way aligned with that world. So below average state. So if you're in a below average state, you're going to be moody, you're going to be procrastinating, you're going to be angry, you're going to be having conflicts. So all the ways how you're going to react to life is going to be like that. So overall, what happens in my coaching is I help a person to understand where they are right now in terms of their state and elevate their state to a good state or a best state, so they naturally start making better decisions, right? So if you actually look at any decision that you take in life, the simplest thing that I say is, when someone asks me, what should I do? I never answer, because I can't answer for you, but I will give you something to think through which you can find the right answer. So what I always say is, if you are at your very, 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 very best state, and if you look at this problem through the lens of self-love, what would be the decision you would take? And if there's one thing that our viewers want to take away from this discussion, I mean, this is a priceless equation, as simple as it may sound. Always ask yourself, when you want to take a decision, if I'm at my best state, and if I'm looking at this problem through the lens of self-love, what decision would I take? And that works every time.
Right, Lien, but I feel that the decision when you're taking, there's this huge debate with your mind and your heart. Your mind would say, yes, stay safe, do what is safer. But your heart says, do what you're passionate about. Absolutely. What advice could you give on that?
So that's exactly where the decision-making formula comes. It's so thorough, it helps you to analyze the problem or the decision-making process from a level of your heart as well as your mind. So you can strike the perfect balance between rationality and emotionality. And when you look at the consequences, what can happen by taking this decision, even if it's an emotional decision, your rational minds get a chance to evaluate it before you take the decision. So what happens is, initially when you learn this formula, you will have to be thinking a little bit before you take decisions, right? But as you practice that and that becomes a part of your life, this starts happening like a supercomputer. Because if you look at our brain, actually it's much more powerful than the most powerful computer on this earth, right? I mean, this is a magnificent creation. So more we put it to use, more it will get used to making better decisions every time. And if we are the decisions that we make in life, just imagine when you have the power to make good decisions that will serve you. Because I don't use this term called right decisions, because it's very subjective, right? If you can make decisions that will make you happy for the rest of your life, just imagine the consequences of it is going to be so good. You're going to have a happy, successful life.
Right, Lien. Now coming back to business, like when you started this coaching firm, what were the responses that you received and what were some of the challenges that you faced? And I believe the pandemic also came through as soon as you started or amidst it.
Yes.
So what were the responses you received from your clients?
Yes, so before talking about the clients, to talk about the close circle, I got a lot of people saying, don't do this. You're stupid to do this. This is not going to work. Especially in a time like this is not going to work. And one person that I found as an inspiration himself looked me in the eye and said, don't do it. This is not going to work for you. There are so many coaches. But then again, I had a passion. I discovered my true purpose in life, which is to help people. And that is what motivates me and drives me every day morning when I wake up, because I have had enough number of people saying, I was suicidal when I spoke to you and you got me out of it. They've said I had bad relationships, I was not happy with myself, I was not happy with my body, you got me out of that. I'm really successful. I have people who are not doing good in business, but with just 1-2 advice, they have started thinking differently and they're really happy. So when I see these things, it really motivates me. So that was one circle of influence. But even other than that, from customers, internationally there's an amazing response, because internationally people are more accustomed and they understand coaching is a part of life. Because simple concept is this, Shonali. If I can be anything, let's say for an example, I want to start a design agency, right? I know a little bit about that. I can do it, and for me to get to, let's say, a particular mark, a level of success which I believe, it takes 10 years. But if I work with someone who has been there, done it, who's already at that point, I can probably achieve it in 2 years. So I'm saving 8 years, right? So a coach is a person who always knows something better than you, couple of steps ahead of you, who can share that knowledge and show you how to do it faster and in a better way. Because when I coach people, all the life lessons that I have had and all the mistakes I have done and the trial and error I have had, so I give all that knowledge to them. So that's the benefit in terms of clients. So international clients are very accustomed, but Sri Lanka is a very growing community. I think the pandemic time boomed the industry. People are more open to coaching. There is a lot of inquiries that are coming in. So I think it's a great place to be right now.
Becoming a transformational coach, it's a very huge responsibility that you take, because you take the responsibility of transforming or changing a person's life.
Absolutely.
So how do you gain that trust with one person, assuring that, yes, I will make your life better?
Absolutely. I think, Shanali, trust is earned, right? And I think for me, there are two things that are working. So when I talk to a person, when I help that person, and when that person goes and tells someone else, word of mouth is very powerful, right? Trust is automatically created because they say, oh my God, this person changed my life. I was like this, it completely changed. Now I'm like free from the, the shackles that was holding me down. So that word of mouth gives a lot of credibility. Secondly, it's who I am and what I do. Right? So it could be from the content that I create, my value proposition, the way I think, even as a normal person when I'm out there in the society, how I behave, how I talk to people, because I have one ethos in life, and that is the main thing that drives me. Be good, do good, see good. Right? Beyond any religion, any philosophy, I know if I can always be good, do good and see good, that's going to make me a good person, right? And that aura is seen by people in my action, in the content that I make, because when your focus is not making money, but your focus is helping others, everything falls into place. And I'm truly passionate about helping others.
Right, Lien, and I think we are running out of time as well. Within a few lines, could you tell our audience what your final vision is from Lien Coaching?
Right. So in terms of Lien Coaching, I want to touch 1 million lives. It's a big, audacious goal. But within the next 5 years, I want to touch 1 million lives in terms of becoming one of the renowned names in the international transformational coaching industry, bringing that fame into Sri Lanka as well. To be like, hey, that guy is from Sri Lanka. Be on the stages with big giants like Tony Robbins or my coaching guru Arfin Khan, big names like that. To be on the same stage and to take Sri Lanka's name out and to touch 1 million lives.
Right. Again, Lien, thank you very much for taking the time to join me on the show tonight, and I wish you all the best with your firm as well.
Thank you very much.
And that was our episode tonight on Business Best. We will be back again next week with another episode that will bring you a new service or a product that will interest you. If you couldn't catch this on air, you can always rewatch this program on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/otherderana English. Until then, I'm Suzanne Shenali. Stay safe and have a good night.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. Face on when I chase like that, yeah, I play so strong with a knife in the back. I'ma swing home run like a baseball bat. Gonna see me rise, you can hate on that. I don't play both sides, doing me no cap. I'ma ride or die for my dreams on tap.